If you're a deep feeling, faith led creative woman who is trying to build a business, this is a very important video for you. Because, in all honesty, most of the content that you are seeing online right now about how to succeed in business, how to build a successful business, it is actually going to work against you. And in this video, I'm going to explain exactly why. Hey, welcome to the channel. My name's Lauren Keys, and I spent the past few years, many years, trying to figure out and build a business the right way. Now, what I realized was I was just basically copying every other coach out there, every other content creator in how they were showing up and building their business. And really, I was just losing myself in the process because I just always felt like I was failing. I could never be consistent. I could never just keep up with what everybody else was doing online. And I thought, is there something wrong with me? Do I have adult ADHD? Do I need to go see someone? Why can't I just get it right? Why can't I just be like the others? Turns out there was nothing wrong with me. I just didn't understand how God wired me differently. I was trying to build a business that didn't match how God uniquely created me. So here's why traditional business advice is just not going to work for people who are deeply creative. So first of all, there is so much content out there telling us that we need to be on every platform. We have to niche down. We have to push through no matter how hard it feels. Work harder, do more, be louder. And this fails for deeply creative people because what it does, and I only just, have recently been discovering this about myself as I've been reflecting, is that this causes so much emotional burnout, right? Like being deeply creative, you're generally a lot more sensitive and you feel things a lot more. So when you go by this advice and you're pushing and you're trying really hard to figure out your niche and you're on all the platforms, it's like your sensories are just like they're overloaded. You're overstimulated. You're just trying to process all these different platforms and all the things that are going on there, and it's too much for you. And so what you're doing here as well is you are literally ignoring that intuitive, that wisdom, that Holy Spirit wisdom within you. You constantly are just like ignoring that, and you're trying to just go with the strategy. And that's going to lead to a lot of burnout, because the way you're designed is you are wired to actually be very deep feeling to the Holy Spirit, to that intuitive part. And I've got to be careful with how I use my words here, because in the New Age manifestation world, they talk about intuition a lot. But what I'm talking about when I talk about intuition, I'm talking about the Holy Spirit. So you're literally being led by the Holy Spirit. And when you're just pushing for the strategy of all the how-tos and you're ignoring that spiritual part of you, it's going to lead to burnout and this inner conflict and chaos within you. And so maybe you've been feeling like you're just not cut out for business because you can't stay consistent, and you're just constantly questioning, like, am I even meant for business? Like, have I even been called to business? Because it just doesn't make sense where, you can't be like everyone else. Most likely what's happening is you're just trying to build in a way that you weren't built for. You were wired and created for depth, thoughtfulness, and maybe even quiet influence. So maybe you're someone who doesn't, you naturally don't want to be on camera, you don't want to really speak, but you feel like you're forcing yourself to do that. And maybe your natural giftings from God aren't in that area, but you're really forcing. I have finally come to realize that God designed me to be very intentional, to actually create from peace and not pressure, and to create from a place of just like slow. So, most of my life there, I have just always been, an action taker, a go-getter. I move fast, and then I burn out, and then I want to switch, I want to pivot, I want to do something else. And what I've realized now is that's not a bad thing to, want to move and create and take action and be a doer. Like, that's actually a good thing, it's a positive thing. I was just using it in a way that just didn't allow that spiritual part of me, so the Holy Spirit, to be in charge, which is very, very important here. Because if you're just going to be led by the action taker, the go-getter, and you totally neglect, and I'm talking to, believers, women of God, Christians out there, faith-driven entrepreneurs, like you especially, you need to be led by Holy Spirit strategy, not like this strategy that you're seeing in the hustle culture. So I just want to share a little bit of a personal story for you guys who are new to my channel on how I tried to build what looked right at the time. So basically, I was just always copying the popular, well-known coaches and influencers and gurus online. All the funnel building, all the, constant showing up every single day, trying to sell in a certain way, trying to be on every platform. I had a podcast, I was on Facebook, I was on Instagram, I attempted a YouTube channel at the time. Then there was TikTok. And so here I was just like trying to, be on all the platforms. I was even trying to, repurpose all the things for all the platforms. And I was just always overwhelmed because the way my brain functions is it likes simplicity. It likes simple, clear things. And if you resonate with what I'm saying here, when you have your hands in so many different areas, different platforms, there's just so much going on. There's a lot for your brain to process, and you will function and thrive better if you are just focused on where your true giftings are and where you naturally find yourself, and it's just a place of home and peace. So what I mean by that is, if you're trying to, for me personally, I have and I'm so happy I realize this now, Instagram is just not my place. I tried for so many years on that platform. I've had so many different accounts. Back in the day, I was really dodgy with how I would grow some of my Instagram accounts. Like I would buy fake followers. I paid for, marketing companies to come in and get me followers, and then they would unfollow them after a while. This was when I was back in the, manifestation days. And then, I would pay for these companies to, go and like everyone's posts and do all these things to grow my account. And yet I still could never stay consistent. I still couldn't just be on the platform regularly, like no matter how hard I tried. And what I realized was Instagram is, it's just not for me. There's just too many moving different parts in Instagram that just overwhelms my brain. That's simply it in a nutshell. And so I really enjoy YouTube because I enjoy long form content, like that whole scrolling on, TikTok or on Instagram and just like the short clips. It just doesn't do it for me. I'm a person of depth. I crave that depth. And so with YouTube, I just always find myself on YouTube because I prefer longer content. And so it was like, oh, well, I actually prefer long form content. Maybe YouTube is for me. And I'm so glad I tried it, because it is I love creating long form content as well. And so when you are forcing yourself to fit a model of what the influencers and coaches are saying, when you're deeply creative like this, it's going to totally work against you, because they're not actually wired the way you are. You really have to take into account your uniqueness and how you function, how God wired you to create. I find that people who are deeply creative, they work best in periods where there's peace, where there's no distractions, where there's no pressure, and from a place of flow. So not where you're forcing ideas, not where you're forcing yourself, like, what's my next offer? I have to figure it out. What's my next video? What's my next reel? Like, I have to figure this out. That's just not going to work for you. It's going to overwhelm you, and you're just going to end up feeling frustrated because you weren't created that way. You're created to build with purpose and to be very, very intentional about what you're going to put out in the world. And so you can't be sitting there forcing yourself to figure things out. It's going to have to come from a place of peace within you, from that aligned place, not from this constant like struggle, hustle, figure it out, think it all through, overthink it all. That's just not going to work for you. And so what I've figured is that I can plan to a certain point, but then I have to stop, because I am someone who, it's sort of like in the moment. Yeah, it's in the moment, inspiration. It's not like I can be like, okay, here are my next 10 videos. I've tried that and I never stick to it. It's always probably like the day before. Like I know I'm going to film. So it's like I generally get a feeling within me of what the topic is going to be about. But yeah, this whole like, planning out the next 20 videos, it just does not happen for me. And so I don't even waste my time with that. And a lot of my struggles and frustration within the business area for me came because I had walked away from God, because I entered into this new age manifestation stuff, which was, it was just gaining popularity back then. This was like in 2018, all about, the law of attraction, universal energy, all that sort of stuff. And so I slowly was getting deceived and then going into that world. And then I became a manifestation spiritual coach. And then that just caused a lot of chaos and confusion for me, especially with business, because I felt like, I had a deeper calling, I had a deeper purpose. But when you go into deceit and deception, which that new age manifestation world is, the enemy twists your purpose, he twists your calling. And so you just get so confused, and you just, you don't know what to do with yourself. You don't know what direction to go in. And so I was constantly confused for many, many years while I was, in that deceit and deception. And I'm just so happy that I'm out of it now, because I can see so clearly what I'm called to do, where my giftings are, what I'm going to talk about, what I'm here to share. Like it's crystal clear now. And this journey of coming back to God, coming back to Jesus, it's just, it's brought so much clarity upon, what I'm doing, but it's also given me light. It's like, oh my gosh, I can see why I was struggling so much, because this is actually how God created me, but I've been pushing against it. I've been totally going against that DNA that he wired me with, like me trying to force and push and listen to all the hustle culture advice. That is just, you will never succeed if you follow that advice. And it was just like, oh my gosh, like massive wake up call. So now I want to share 3 ways that you can start building a business that feels like you. So start with your unique wiring, not somebody else's formula. So this is where it's time to reflect on your strengths, your values, what energizes you and lights you up. How do you best perform? Like, do you prefer a slower pace, or are you someone who is just, you're on the go, you move fast? Because there are a lot of creators who that's how they were wired. Like they produce ideas really quick, they act fast, it works for them. But then there are other creatives and creators who it's generally a more slower pace, and that is okay. And so this is where you want to start thinking about the platforms that energize you and that drain you. And like I was saying before, Instagram, TikTok, it drains the life out of me. Like as soon as I'm on that platform, I start to feel just like, oh, not good. And I'm like, okay, it's time to get off here. As with YouTube is not really much scrolling for me. YouTube is like, I can just focus on my message. I can focus on what I'm going to put out there, because it's like, it's not as distracting as those other platforms. So, you got to remember, God knew exactly what he was doing when he made you multi-passionate, deeply creative and sensitive. Like those are not flaws. That's your unique wiring. So you want to choose a platform that aligns with who you really are. Okay. So this means looking at, like I said before, short form content versus long form content. Short form content is good. And if that's the way you want to do a business, that's great. I feel like though, for most of the people who are on this channel watching this video now, you're more likely to be in-depth people, and so you crave depth and you crave that long form because you know, you want to connect with the person on the other screen as well. You don't want this, you know, 20-second and then you're gone and then the person just forgets what you said. So like blogging and YouTube would probably be better suited for you. Not necessarily, but I feel like it would be, just from personal experience and, you know, other people who are deeply creative as well. You know, you could consider also, you know, whatever platform you're going to go on. And this is what I like about YouTube is there's that you might be someone who prefers to create evergreen content as opposed to, you know, going live on Facebook or Instagram. Maybe even a slower way of marketing. So for me personally, the whole email marketing thing, I like it, but I cannot stand it when I receive an email every single day from someone. Like I'm straight away, I'm like, no, goodbye, unsubscribe. Like I can't deal with this. And so when I send out emails, it's definitely not every day. It's not even every week. Like I try to do it once a month, if anything. But for most of the part, I've got a funnel going that has some automations, but that automation isn't every day. Like it's a nice pace because I know the people that I'm sharing this with, they don't want to be bombarded every single day. Like maybe, you know, once every 2 weeks or something. And that's because I know I like that kind of interaction is don't bombard me every single day. Like I don't want that. Like I want to hear from you, but not often. And so you need to, look at when you're going to be, you know, doing your marketing strategy, like how are you going to do it? Does it energize you? Does it make you feel good to send emails often? Or are you someone who it just feels like peace to just send an email maybe once every second week, once a month? There is no right or wrong way to do it. It's what feels like peace for you. So you can be consistent in your own way where you are honoring your creativity and that special rhythm that only works for you. So that's why listening to all the advice, post 5 times a day, I don't even know what it's up to now, be on at least 3 different platforms. Like, no, you don't have to do that if that's not, you know, what's going to feel right for you. You got to protect your energy. You got to protect your peace, especially in this day and age where we're just bombarded with distractions and overwhelmed so much. It really clouds our thinking. It blocks that creativity from flowing. And so you literally have to protect yourself even more now because the way the online world is going, it's nuts, right? And then you want to let your message be rooted in truth, not trend. Share your journey, be real, raw, honest, doesn't have to be polished. You know, I'm still doing my videos right now with my iPhone 11. It's not even an iPhone 13, 14, 15, 16. I don't even know what they're up to right now and I don't care because this phone works really good for me. I am in a process of getting a proper YouTube camera. I'm still waiting on it from Harvey Norman. It's been like 4 weeks and I'm like, what are you guys doing? Like you said, it was literally next day delivery. But I've learned that, no, this is my time to just keep showing up real, raw, and not waiting for things to be perfect. So like, yeah, here we are. Got one of my eyelashes. I've been playing around with like eyelashes, false eyelashes lately, just to like give me a little bit more depth on my face. But I'm like, you know, I was like looking up real close. I'm like, do they look too fake? Like, should I just pull them off? And I'm just like, we'll just do the video. And I'm glad that I'm here because I feel like, you know, we're almost halfway through the video, I think, and like they've lasted. And if I had fussed over that, I probably would be like freaking out because I have to go pick my daughter up from school soon. But I'm like, no, we're just going to get the video done. So, you know, don't be afraid to share the real journey of your ups, your downs, what annoys you, you know, who you really are. Go deep. Right? Not wide. Don't try and think, you know, don't think that you have to fit in with everyone. You want to go deep in what you want to share, not like basic, average, surface level stuff. You know, like I said, I no longer make videos on Etsy tutorials, digital product creation because it felt too shallow for me. I'm a person of depth. And so it was like, I need to actually share what I really, really want to talk about, not like And I still love Etsy, still got my Etsy shop. But yeah, talking about it and sharing, that's not my true message. And also, what I've learnt too is instead of trying to figure out the niche and figure out the message perfectly, especially like for YouTube, it's just where are you at, share, talk on that, and then the message will naturally come and you'll start to have clarity on what this is all about. And even if you don't really know what you're doing and it doesn't make sense in your head, because I know for me, like being so creative and like that, sometimes it's like I don't even know what I'm trying to think, what I'm trying to say, what this feeling is in me that wants to be birthed. But it's like once I actually like make the content, make the video, it just comes out. And then, after a while, I look back at all my content and then I can see like a theme and I'm like, oh, okay, this is where we're going. This is like the theme, the direction we'll just, go with, and then we can go off into this area and that area. So if what's trying to come through for you to create and put out into the world doesn't fully make sense and you don't understand it yet, that's perfect. Just create something, put it out there, and then it'll start to make sense later on. Now, as I wrap up the video here, I just want to encourage you that your creativity, your depth, your sensitivity, your feelings, it's not too much, it's perfect and it's needed. Business isn't just for extroverts and high achievers. Like, it is for sensitive people. It is for, and I don't mean sensitive in like a negative way. I mean it like in a, like I would call myself a sensitive person because I can be very, maybe sometimes too sensitive. But yeah, business is for heart-led people as well. And it's important that we bring more heart-led, aligned, creative, faith-driven entrepreneurs into this space, into the world, because it's so needed right now. All of that has a place in the way you build your business. That is very good. It's going to be extremely unique to you. It's going to be messy. It's going to be chaotic. It's not going to make sense to you. And that is perfect because that's where you start. And then you just keep putting the content, you keep, trying the things, and then it all adds up in some way. So let me know in the comments, are you a deep feeling creative who, has felt this way in business where you felt like it's not for you, or, you keep getting stuck? Like, let me know your experience in the comments below. And if you're someone who is just overthinking everything in business and you want to know how to stop that overthinking and that analysis paralysis, you can check out this video here.